Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbookingncraft. Today I'm sharing some ATC cards that I made with our stencils, featuring our stencils and some other manufacturers' stamps. I thought I'd try something different for this video. I'll show you the projects and then I'll attach the process videos afterwards in case you just want to see the finished project. Let me know if you like this style of video or whether you'd like me to jump straight into the process video and you don't see the finished product at the end. I'd be interested to know, so please leave us a comment down below. So ATC cards are artist trading cards, and these are for an artist trade I'm going to do. And they are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, like about the same size as a playing card. And it was a scary theme, so I used some of our scary Halloween templates. So this one in the background you can see hands or arms. This is using our zombie hands stencil and distress inks. I was just thinking, I've been using both oxides and inks, and I had to remember which one. But this is with the distress inks, just doing the water technique and bleaching it out, and then I've just put Fright Night Admit on the front. I will back them with a piece of cardboard and do the ATC thing on the back, the name, created by, and stuff like that. Sorry. So I'll just, where are we? Adjusting to a new camera angle. So this one is our bat stencil in the back, and I will link all these 3 stencils, or 4 stencils that I've used below as well, and it can be purchased on our website. So this one's got the bats, again with the distress inks. I love that one, it's very cute. I wanted to just simply stamp on the top. I wanted the stencils to be the main feature. This one is a bit of a disjointed skeleton. I was playing around for the first time with a disjointed skeleton stamp, and I didn't realise there were such gaps between his body parts, but he does look scary because he's been dissected. So this one is our web stencil in the background, and this one does have a bit of shimmer on it. I must have had a bit of silver paint that transferred onto the ATCs. I am naughty and don't wash my stencils. This one is, again, our web stencil in the background. Nice purple one done with seedless preserves. And the water technique. And this one is a Tim Holtz overall stamp that I got a couple of years ago. I can't unfortunately link any of the stamps below because they are fairly old, and sometimes I don't know where I got them from. So sorry about that. So mainly doing our stencils, or focusing on our stencils. So this one's our jack-o'-lantern stencil with the faces. I did try to bleach this one out with the same water technique, but it didn't work so well, so I did an orangey background and put the black facial features, and they look just awesome. And then I just put a poison bottle on the top. So I didn't want the stamping to detract, and this one I'm not real happy with, but I decided to include it because not all things go to plan. So again, this was a nice dark background with a black and the cobweb, and you can sort of see that. And then because it was dark and I don't own any white ink, it would have been perfect if I owned some white ink, but I don't at this stage. So I stamped these onto white cardstock and then just dusted over with a bit of the distress ink just to darken the white. The white was a bit stark. And then off camera I decided to do a bit of outlining in white because it didn't really stand out. And I'm not sure whether you're going to see here and here, I stamped another spider web over the top in distress oxide, just trying to lighten it up a bit, but it didn't work quite as well as I wanted it to. But I decided to leave it in and show you because it is, sometimes things don't go to plan and they don't work out. So this one I'll keep for myself, and the other 5 are for a swap, or I only need 3. I've got to decide which ones I want to part with and which spooky ones I want to keep. So I will now go into the making of the backgrounds, and then I make all the backgrounds, and then I'll go into the stamping, just the simple stamping, so you can watch up as much as you like. So do let me know if you like this idea of a process video, so showing you the finished project at the start and then going into the process, or whether we just jump straight into the process and you wait till the end to see. You can always fast forward to the end to see the finished project. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Okay, so we're jumping straight in with the process video. I've got my distress inks along the top. I believe I've got, the one I'm doing at the moment is Wild Honey, there's Seedless Preserves, there's Black Soot, Faded Jeans maybe, and it's another grey one. I don't have the inks in front of me. I don't think it's green, couldn't find my green one.
So I'm just working on some cardstock. I probably should have done these on watercolour paper, but the ink is going okay on the cardstock. I've got a piece of the same 220 GSM cardstock underneath, and as you can see, every time I ink, I move it. So I'm actually creating a really cool background and not wasting my ink, and I will cut that up and use that as a really cool background. So just getting some paper towel and bleaching the ink out with water. So laying the stencil down straight on top, spraying through the stencil, and rolling the paper towel on soaks up a lot of the water so it's not sopping wet, and then when you dry it off, you actually, where the stencil was exposed and the water hit it, it actually bleeds out the distressed ink colour, and then you get like a ghosty effect. So it's sort of a bit of practice getting the amount of water to the amount of bleaching you want. Sometimes you do it and it doesn't work, sometimes you do it and it's great. So I will link the stencils below that I've used. So 4 out of our Halloween, which was our last year's Halloween release. So we've got the bat stencil, we've got a spooky hand stencil, a cobweb, and jack-o'-lantern faces. So I do apologise about the bit of the movement in the camera. I am working on a table, and this video was filmed when my tripod was sitting on the edge of my table, and I have since upgraded to a new camera tripod that I made myself. So, and again, just using the water technique, this time with the, sorry, I forgot which stencil I just used, with the web stencil. And I do apologise about the shadowing. I'm working on the light. There, I turned the other light on. I was wondering why it was a bit dark. So a bit of the silver paint come off that web stencil as well. I don't wash my stencils unless I'm using something like a texture paste. I'm very lazy. And some of my stencils are very caked with paint and ink, and you'll actually get them transferring onto the next project, which I don't mind. Usually it doesn't wreck the process, which is good. And sometimes it's nice, like the bit of shimmery silver was really nice on that project. So as you can see, my sheet of underpaper is getting quite full. So this one didn't particularly work with the water technique. It tends to work with larger area stencils, just because with the fine detail, the water doesn't sort of get through the droplets. So the droplets of water don't have a long space to bleach out. So that one didn't work as well, so I just use the stencil and do the direct stenciling over technique. I'm just showing you there. So I have sped this video up 3 times speed because it is very repetitive, and I am making 6 little cards. I'm using a Tim Holtz blender to apply the distress inks. I like the blending foam because you can get really nice effects. And this cardstock's probably not the greatest to use, but it's what I had on hand. I will have to purchase some good watercolour paper. So holding the stencil down with my finger this time, just to try to see if that'll make a difference, and rolling off with the paper towel. I find if you don't roll off with the paper towel, and I may have said this with one of the first ones, the water on top of the stencil may move to underneath the stencil when you move it. That's why I like to roll with the paper towel. As opposed to dabbing, the rolling sort of works quite well. So I'm getting quite a few cards now. When I'm doing a swap, these are ATC cards, so they're artist training cards. When I'm doing a swap, I tend to make more than I need. I like to keep some myself, and I just had so much fun playing with these that I just kept going. I only needed 3 for the swap, but I decided to make 6, and then I have some spare ones, or I can use them in my art journal or in my traveller's notebook or whatever. Or they can make a great card front as well. So bringing back the spiderweb stencil, and this stencil, because our the ATC cards are only 2.5 by 3.5 inch in size, and our templates or our stencils are 6 inch in size, or just under 6 inches, you can sort of choose where you want to stencil, especially with the spiderweb stencil. So the spiderweb stencil's got sort of a main stencil, and then it's got 2 half bits of the stencil. I also like to dry the piece from the back as well, and that's if your paper starts curling, you can also dry it from the back and it will sort of reverse the curl as well. I do like how the spider web was working. This technique also works with a very dark, heavily layered ink as well. It doesn't work so well with the light inks because you are bleaching it out. As you can see, I'm getting lots of ink on that background paper, and moving my card as well every time I do it. So I'm sort of filling up that sheet of paper, and I'm going to cut that up to use in another project. And I'm just putting that piece of paper down to protect the distress ink on that undersheet from getting watered on when I spray it, because when I spray it tends to go everywhere. So this time I'm trying to actually dry through the stencil before I remove it, which works quite well as well. So there's several different variations of the same water technique that you can try to get the same sort of effect. For this particular one, I'm adding some more black around the edge. Actually, that one I don't think worked so well, so I'm going back and doing it. Sorry, I did do these a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just voice-overing it now. I sometimes forget what I do. That's dreadful. So all these 4 stencils will be linked below on our website and can be purchased. We also do custom orders on our website as well, while you're just watching me drawing the card. So if there's any particular design you'd like, as long as it's not a copyrighted design, you can certainly request it. I have been changing the distressing foam between colours. I usually have one per colour, but I think I'm down to only a couple, so I was using one for the lighter colour, the wild honey, and then I had one for the other colours, the darker colours. So this is where I put the dark jack-o'-lantern faces on. Oh no, I try it with the water again. As I said, this particular stencil, the 3 stencils worked very well, except for the jack-o'-lantern face that just didn't work as well. But crafting is all about experimenting, and if you don't experiment, you don't have fun. Sometimes I have a vision in mind of what the project's going to be, and then unfortunately I go to do the project and then it doesn't work. So this is where I just go ahead and don't throw out the piece. I just decided to put the jack-o'-lantern faces over the top. And I like the effect of that one. We can also make our stencils. Most of our stencils on our website are 6x6 or just under 6x6 inches, which is a nice good size. But if you do require them bigger, we can make up to 12x12 inch stencils. We have been designing some bigger ones as well. So here I go into the stamping. Now I wanted the main backgrounds to be visible with the stamping, so I didn't want to cover the ATC cards up a lot, so I just wanted to do some basic stamping on them. So I'm just using a Tim Holtz stamping platform. And because my ATCs were cut, I couldn't hold the sheet of paper with my magnets, so I decided to just use a little bit of double-sided tape. So I love the stamping tool because you can stamp several times, and I'm not very good at stamping. And I'm also working on a trestle table. You can see it giving there and moving. Unfortunately, my scrapbooking table is a trestle table, and it does have a fair bit of give in it. And I do apologise for my head popping into shot. I'm trying to see if I got the stamping correct. But I can go over it several times to get it very dark. So that one is that stamp is an ATC stamp from Tim Holtz, and a lot of these stamps are no longer available. I do apologise for that. Mainly wanting to showcase the stencils and our products in the store, and the other things I use are just add-ons as well. So just while the stamp is in the stamping press, just having a go. As you can see, I'm moving it towards the bottom of the screen to the edge of the trestle to see if I can get a better look. So often when I bring my stamps out, I will do more stamping than the project requires. And then I've got a whole bin of images I can use at another day when I don't want to get out my inks and stamping. So this is the one with the skull and crossbones. I love the idea of a stamping tool, whether it's a Misty, a Tim Holtz, or another brand, or a homemade version. It just allows you to ink up the stamp to what intensity you like, whether you like it to be really black or you can go very light as well. And positioning is really good. So I love that one. So that particular stamp set I got several years ago, and I don't even know if it has a brand at all. So just floating through my stamp sets, deciding which one. So this one's the skeleton that's in parts. So this is the first time using the stamp, so I didn't realise positioning them like this I would get such a gap. But I do like it. And the stamps, because they were new, they were so hard to get off the plastic, I almost thought I would rip them at one stage. And I do apologise for my head getting in the way. This is actually my new camera setup. So half this video was filmed with my old camera setup a couple of weeks ago, and then I finally got back to finishing them. And this is with my new stencil. And I was going to have his arms up in the air because I can reverse his arms, but I didn't like the effect of it. And I didn't get to use his legs because he was a bit tall, but he looks really cute. So just using Tim Holtz Distress archival ink, and you can see there I'm flipping the stamp over. Unfortunately I had the stamp backwards and wondering why I was getting a big black blob. Things I do, I don't know. If there's a wrong way to do it in craft, I'll figure it out and I'll do it that way. So also just edging the cards as well to give them a nice defined edge, just by running the ink pad around. I had so much fun doing these. I love working in large things. I'm a bit more of a large artist than a small artist. I do struggle on small ATC cards. And also I spoke, when I've made such a beautiful background, I hesitate to cover it up. So I sort of was wanting to place something on these stamps that were, on these cards, the stamps that wouldn't detract. Oh, I do apologise. It's very late at night tonight. So as you can see, that first stamp didn't turn out very well at all, and I had to go over it several times to get a nice dark image. I also do like that one because the bottle is not solid. You can actually see through to the background as well. So just edging up that one, or edging up to give it a nice look. So I decided to use several sets of stamps. I've got all my Halloween stamps off to the side. So I decided to use several different ones. I particularly like this ticket. This ticket is really cute. So I stamped it once up the top, and I thought, oh, I'd put something else down the bottom, and then I thought, no, I might just repeat it, which is a different look again. This is very repetitive, and I'm not sure what I can say to continue with my voiceover. Isn't that terrible? I had fun doing these. So I did say at the front part of the intro, let me know if you like this style of video, which is like a completed sneak peek. I thought you sort of say a sneak peek at the front of what they look like, and then do the process video at the end, or whether we just go into the process video and at the end it's just moving around things and tossing up things to see what would work and what doesn't work, I suppose, for the channel. And I always love your comments and your feedback, so definitely let us know. Let us know if you like voiceover videos or whether you like music. I personally prefer the voiceovers because I do like to hear how or why the person has done what they've done. And I do a lot of that in my voiceovers as well. So this particular time I'm actually stamping on white cardstock because the background was very dark. Now if I had a white ink pad or some white embossing powder, which I don't own either of those products at the moment, I would have stamped directly onto the card. So this is just some of the same cardstock, and I go and cut these out and stick them on. So personally, when I'm watching YouTube videos, I do prefer voiceovers, but it's personal preference to what you prefer as well. And I do apologise if my head gets in the way. It's really hard for me to fussy cut and keep in the shot of the camera. Not sure whether I actually go and colour these on camera or whether that's something I did when I was off camera. So to stick I'm on, that bottle of glue is a really old bottle and it's just emptied. I'm so sad to see it go. It's about 9 years old, that bottle. It's ridiculous. It's Express-It gel glue. I'm not sure what it's called because the label's all gone off. But it's by Express-It brand and it's more like a gel than a liquid glue, which is really good. And it's great for chipboard and great for everything, but I've finally finished it. And I had that when I had a retail store, and I've been out of my retail store 9 years this next February. Wow, that glue is old and still going well, except it ran out. So excuse my messy desk, I should have put a piece of paper underneath to show you, and you can see there's no white on that bottom right hand side one. I do that off camera. Thank you for watching, and here's some close-up stills. Bye for now.